Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we resume the Dharma talks from Master YongHua, his Chanchi's instructions. Where we are is he talked about people who know should not say that they know everything. Okay, he even says if you say that you know everything, then you know nothing. So that's what we are. Start the tape, please.
知道他不会这么样讲的，不会自骂。
Because if he knows everything, he won't speak like that. He won't be complacent.
Yep, that's the thing here. If you know everything, you never speak like that. Okay? It's only the people who don't know, that's why they talk, they claim that they know everything. And the problem with knowing everything is believing that you know everything, is that you will become complacent. You will become so self-satisfied. Okay? Go ahead.
俺们现在到任何地方都不要小自满，都要有绕无，实绕虚。
And now, anywhere we go, we need to learn to not be complacent, having as if not have, full as if empty.
俺们有道德像没有道德似的，有学问像没有学问似的。
What does it mean? Yeah, go ahead.
We have moral is like not having moral. Have knowledge is like not having knowledge.
So what does it mean? To have moral is like not having moral. To have knowledge is not like not having knowledge. Because if you have morals, then you don't want to appear. You don't want to take on the appearance of morality. Morality is not supposed to be seen. So, if you have morals, then you behave in a way that doesn't draw to your being a moral person. That's what he means. You don't draw attention to your being moral. You have knowledge. You would not do anything to draw attention to the fact you're having knowledge. So it's like you like not having knowledge at all. So having knowledge, part of having knowledge is also to know how to be like not having knowledge. Question. Blue.
Master, is it moral here or virtue? So why is that moral is not supposed to be seen?
Oh, moral virtue is here, is virtue, not morals. Okay. 道德 is way virtue. If we have way virtue, in particular, thank you for pointing it out to me. If you have way virtue, then you behave as if it doesn't come across as you having way virtue. What is way virtue? Chinese like to use this word, way virtue. Way is the way. It means practicing, cultivating the way, walking the way. Okay? Virtue is the virtues that arises from practicing the way. Okay? So in particular, it means that you have the virtues of cultivation, then it doesn't come out as virtue of cultivation. And part of the virtue of cultivation is morals. Okay? But way virtue is a lot more than just morality. Okay. Similarly, knowledge is not something you boast about, and you should avoid giving the impression that you have knowledge, that you know everything, that you know anything, if you ask me. Okay? If you know anything, it's yours. You don't need to tell people you know everything. Why do you need to tell people you know everything? Please tell me, what's the reason for you? Does it make sense to you? Then you have knowledge, you're not supposed to tell or let it out that you have knowledge. Is it practical? Does it apply at work? You go to work and you know what you're doing. You know your architecture. You know your engineering. You know your whatever, your professional skills. Okay, is it reasonable to say that you know and yet you behave as if you don't know at work? It sounds good in a cultivation environment where, yes, you're supposed to be virtuous, therefore you should be humble and you don't let it out that you know and you're special and so forth. It makes sense, right? In general, it makes sense. You don't need to show off, and that's what differentiates between a person who's worldly at the temple versus a person who understands cultivation. The person who has a worldly behavior at the temple is the one who walks around, with the nose up in the air, looking down on others. That's worldly thinking. In the temple environment, you should behave what way? I keep on telling you, but I don't think people pay attention. You say, I don't know anything, then you'd be lying, right? So how should you behave? Anyone knows? It doesn't just apply to the temple, also applies at work as well. How are you supposed to behave? You're more virtuous, you have more morality, you have more kung fu. Okay? How are you supposed to behave? Do you then act like an idiot? Like a clown? Wait. YouTube has an answer.
LTD says, you don't say anything at all, never praise yourself, and be humble.
Don't say anything at all. You never praise yourself and be humble. Is this person for real? How are you supposed to behave at the temple, especially our temple? I don't know about all the temples. I taught you how to behave in our temples. How are you supposed to behave? Yes, you are a big contributor. Yes, you are a big Dharma protector. Yes, you give a lot of money. I'm very grateful. Okay? Yes, you cook my lunch. Yes, I'm so grateful. That's even more important. What else? Yes, you give me a nice car, a red one, hopefully. Yes, I'm very grateful. Okay, how are you supposed to behave? YouTube answer.
Chun Chao says, be straight-minded.
Straight mind. So they ask you, do you know this? Of course. Isn't it straight? Huh? How are you supposed to behave? There's something that a Malaysian nun taught me 25 years ago I couldn't understand. When I was a lot younger, I became a novice, and I shaved my head, look around, and said, "You so nhà quê, you don't know anything." Yes, YouTube answer.
Diego says, do nothing.
Do nothing, so you become like numb, wood, stone, like a statue. You sit there, do nothing, huh? Yes, Orange.
Modesty?
Modesty? Define modesty. I feel so modest, but people accuse me of not being modest.
Something that you don't show off. It's sort of kind of being quiet and
You
not being so flashy and
flashy. Then what's the fun in knowing, in being good at something if you're not flashy, and you don't show that you chant better than others, you don't show you walk nicer than others, you don't show you bow much better than others? What's the point in doing that? That's exactly how I felt, by the way. I walked in there and said, "You Chinese don't chant that well, so I'm going to chant better than you." So that's what I was doing, unfortunately. I'm very ashamed to admit that. I walk in there and I have this chip on my shoulders, very conceited, because I sit better than you. I'm better educated. I know English better than you. I chant better than you, and all those things. Okay, so one day the Malaysian nun came to me, and she told me, "Don't stand out." And it was very, very kind advice, which I have the very same reaction I just told you. So what's the point? Where's my fun? My fun in doing this? I don't stand out, and then what's in it for me? I don't know how you feel about it or not, but that's how I felt back then. Maybe not much has changed. I don't know yet. So that was such a beautiful and kind advice. She's not enlightened, by the way. She wasn't enlightened. She isn't enlightened. And she went back to Malaysia and now has her own temple, because he basically rejected, my master's temple. Said, "You guys don't have what I'm looking for. So I'm going back to my country. I'm going to build my own temple. I have my own temple, and in a small village, and I'm going to live my pure life. I don't need you." Okay, and so gave me that piece of advice. It's so beautiful. She says, "Just don't stand out. Don't try to stand out so much." And that is, back then I didn't understand it, and that is the behavior we should have in a great assembly Dharma environment. We are practicing great assembly, meaning we practice with a lot of people when there is no pandemic, that is. Okay? And when you practicing with others, never mind about knowing whether you have way virtue or have more knowledge and so forth. The rule of thumb for everyone, doesn't matter. Don't be stuck on the word that you have way virtue or you have knowledge or you have skills or so. Okay? Or your contribution is so big, the temple depends on you right now. If you don't come to the temple would be at a loss. Okay? Okay? So, the proper behavior is that you blend in, you disappear in the crowd. Okay? It's a little bit more detailed than don't stand out. You disappear. If you go somewhere, no one should pay attention to you. That's why I picked up later. What I remember all my important lessons from my 4.5 years in my master's temples. I saw all kinds of monks and nuns behave, and shine under the bright lights and so forth. The one thing I remember is my masters standing there at the International Translation Institute. There are about 5 or 6 of us walking around, circumambulating, reciting Buddha's name. Okay, this is just before lunchtime. Okay, so we were walking around, and so all of a sudden, Master Hsien showed up, and the ITI, they have a very tiny Buddha hall. Okay. And so we had to walk around, we had to change different, to go to the other rooms and so forth. It's a huge building. But since no one came there, so they chose Venerable Heng Bin only chose a small room for the Buddha hall. So we stood there, 4, 5, 6 of us, and then we chanted, and then we started walking around. And lo and behold, as we started circumambulating, I saw a short monk, very short. I said, what? It looks like Master Hsien. Why is it so short? Not true. I said, it's a small monk there, standing there, okay? And people walk by, and they all go, they all like this. And so when it was my turn to go in, because I was at the end of the line, okay? The most stupid, the most ignorant of the whole assembly. So when I went over line, I saw how everyone got excited and bow to him and so forth. They're so happy. Oh, Shifu is here! Shifu is here! And I went up to him. I didn't know what to do, so I ignored him. And then after walk past him, I said, oh, this is my chance. That was my chance to see a great monk. And I didn't even bow to him. I didn't even make acknowledge him. How terrible. But it's exactly what you're supposed to do. You walk by as if he's not there. And that's exactly how I remember it. Because later on, I went and saw the other senior monks, disciples of his, or the other senior abbots and great monks out there in the other temples. Okay, wherever I met any of them, other than Master Hsien, what stuck out is that they have a presence. They said, I'm the abbot. My master is the only monk alive I've ever met. Okay? I met many famous monks in person. Well, they wouldn't talk to me in person, but same room. Okay? I need to brag a little bit. So I met many of them, and there's no one like Master Hsien as he showed up and was not even there. That's what I remember. You can see him, but there's nothing there. He blended into the wall, into the furniture, into the people around him. Actually, when I looked at Master Hsien and his monk disciples, the point of translator, the white monks, the yellow monks, and so forth, they all stood out. You can't even notice him. That's real kung fu right there. That's real wisdom right there. You have way virtue as if you don't have any It's nothing to be noticed as way virtue. You have knowledge, and yet no one notices you. No one even knows you have knowledge. That to me is what stuck. That's that image there of that short Chinese monk standing there at the threshold of the thing, of that room, was sort of like a indelible in my mind for decades. It's so helpful for me to see what is it meant to disappear into the assembly. You're there and that, yet you're not there. So far so good? That is virtue. To me, he's the only monk like that I've ever met alive. Okay? What about at work? Is it reasonable to say that at work I should behave like I have no knowledge, as if I have knowledge? I'm the expert, but I should behave as if I'm not the expert. Is that reasonable? Or is it only applies to cultivation, not practical for daily life? This is practical advice, have knowledge, and behave as if you don't have any knowledge. Is it really practical? I know one of my disciples works for a big company up north, Northern California, Sunnyvale, as a matter of fact. Mountain View, Sunnyvale, one of those places. They have so many locations anyway. San Jose, Sunnyvale, Mountain View. Great bagels, I'm told. And she says that her time at work is to go to impress others into giving the assignment to her. Is that what you're supposed to do? If you don't, you won't get promoted. She's been getting a lot of good promotions, by the way, so it must have worked. YouTube answer.
Alta D says, the best musicians don't talk very much. They are so humble, but that's how you can tell they are good.
The best musicians are humble?
The best musicians that don't talk very much.
Are they Asians? To me, I saw, for example, the great violinists, okay? They appear humble, but actually they're not interested in you. They said, you too unskilled. Okay, so yes, they behave as if they don't say anything, but actually the attitude is that, worth my time. That's a big difference between being humble, not saying anything, quiet, but actually you have a bad attitude. That's why I see in those virtuosos, and they're not interested in you, not at all. There's no connection. You too.
Chun says, we are required to show visibility at work, especially at senior levels.
You're required to show visibility at work, especially at senior level. This company is doomed. Yes, my humble opinion. It's, you have a bunch of self-promoters. I disagree. A bunch of salesmen. Sorry. Anyone? Agree, disagree? Yes, Pink.
Master, I think when we need to show our skill, like at work, like in our assignment, we need to show our skill, like to finish that. But in the relation with others, we don't need to show that because it's not relevant.
Show the skills when we need to. Otherwise, you don't show it?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
How is it different from saying that we need to be more visible because that's part of my, I have the skills, therefore I should be more visible, so that I should be called on first or more often?
No, I mean, to show up here, we try to complete the work. That's the only way to show it. That's all. And
when are you supposed to show that?
so when we do our work, we just finish it.
But if they don't know you have the skills, how are they going to ask you to do the work? That's the dilemma. This is why that company says you're expected to be visible if you're a leader.
Yeah, I think through training, or they can see your performance, and then they recognize you are able to do that work, so they assign that work to you.
I know because you touch on something very important. Okay, that is this work behavior where yes, I came from an environment where you're supposed to shine, you're supposed to stand out. Otherwise, you will miss your chances to contribute, to get promotions, to make a difference. That's the way it is. Okay, YouTube has the answer.
Brady says, if you don't show a certain amount of skill in work, people will think you are incompetent.
Yes, absolutely. That's a problem as well. If you don't show that you're competent, then they might think you're not that good. You're that wood. Here's what I propose to you. I wasn't like this, by the way. My prior life in corporate America, I was always showing off and shooting the mouth and especially proving my superior intellect. Okay, my superior knowledge, my accuracy, the speed of mind. Okay, what is meant by this, and this is going to go against Chin's statement earlier, is that you disappear, meaning that you sit in this conference room, you sit in this meeting, okay? You are one of the attendants, for example, okay? And you don't try to stand out, okay? That's the rule of thumb. You don't try to stand out because typically we try to grandstand, we try to draw attention because my branch manager would not notice me unless I do something that he remembers. I say something, he remembers. So that the next time he needs some help, he'll remember my name, my face. That's what's supposed to happen. I was at IBM. That's what was supposed to happen. Okay. But I feel, where is IBM today? It used to be a hot company. Not anymore. Wrong culture to promote good people. It's now performance based on grandstanding, on showing off, on being louder, instead of contributing. Can you see that? That's a big danger. If all you do is show off to demonstrate your superior knowledge, your superior skills, then I feel that it's detrimental to cooperation, to teamwork, okay? And it's a waste of energy because you sit there and say, what can I say? What can I say to stand out, for my bosses to notice me. Yes, Q.
Hi, Master. Can I say the other way around is be true to yourself and speak at the right time?
Yes, you don't need to even have to be true to yourself. Just don't do anything. To be true to yourself is so much work, because what is being true to yourself? Okay? I would stand in me if now I have a chance to go back to the real life, not this fake life. Okay, we go back to work. Okay, I would go to a meeting. I would disappear. No one notices, right? Don't worry. Don't worry at all. Don't worry, you won't be noticed. Why is that? See, the fact you worry that you'll be noticed, that the fact you want to stand out is what is called? What is that called? A false thought. There's no need to stand out yet. Why do you have to think about you have to stand out? You see that? There's no need to stand out. No need to get noticed. No need to be visible yet. Because if you come to a meeting with the mindset, I'm going to shine, I'm going to draw attention to myself, okay? I'm going to be visible, okay? Then you are committed. You're stuck already. When there are the times where the assignment is not a good thing, how are you going to back off now? See my problem? It may not be good, it may not be a good project for your promotions. It's a better one coming up. And yet you're committed to be visible already. You see the disadvantages? You see that? So don't do anything, don't stand out. But then why are you there? People might ask. You're there because when it's time for them to discuss things, that's when you add your knowledge. You contribute your knowledge. That's it. Don't try to stand out. If what problem needs to be resolved, you make your suggestion, you put in your 2 cents worth. That's about it. And if it's good, the better bosses will notice. YouTube comment.
Brady says, office meetings are very political. You got to know when to hold, when to fold, and when to scold.
Yeah, that's what I do in mahjong too. I mean, poker too. Yes, absolutely. But I'm of the opinion that you don't need to grandstand. I disagree with that. I disagree because I was in that environment too myself. Okay, until you get to be up there, then you look at those people who are grandstanding and you laugh and say, yeah, I can use that person. Yeah, it's okay. Future reference. Yeah, it's funny. That's about it. That's all you're worth. Trust me. The more you draw attention to yourself, the less value you are to the executives. Trust me. If a good executive would not be impressed. YouTube has a question.
Elta D asks, Master, what if I need to promote a product or music? What do I do then? What about people in marketing or marketing a product? Aren't we supposed to show off?
You have plenty of time to show off when it's your turn. You will be given the chance to express your opinion, make your own presentation, and that's what your best has. What you have, that's your best. You don't need to add on top of that, I need to shine. It's not necessary. If you're good enough, you shine. That's my point. I assure you, the better bosses will notice you. The not good bosses would fall for your grandstanding and your seeking visibility. It's a game. That's all. Yes, you will miss a few opportunities because some of the senior managers say, "Oh, how come this person's so quiet? I want something more." So it's probably not a good boss for you. That's the flip side of it. Yes, Cube.
Emitofuo. I think in my case, I tried it, and the last year went through well in terms of disappearing in the meeting or not to stand out and etc. The work will eventually come back to you. You don't need to fight, or the good project will eventually come back to you.
Absolutely.
And other people, they want to shine and take the opportunity, but eventually the good task or you may have to clean up some of the mess once in a while because they really want to take on that project, and then they mess it up, and then you clean it up. But then it's much better than show off. And so I keep my team busy with very little effort, and I still can. Now I don't need to do marketing to get more work. They just come to me and ask for help. So I think maybe because I have a lot of work at the temple, so I don't have time to fight anymore. But it works that way. Whatever it is, it will eventually come back to you, and it's much better than
Thank you. Thank you for the contribution. Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Is that if it's meant to be, you'll be given a chance because others will not be as good as you are, and the better bosses will recognize that. You don't have to worry about it. If the boss is not that good and they fire you, so be it. Go look for a better boss. It's that simple. Why do you have to be stuck on a boss like that who needs you to grandstand? Because that kind of boss will not rise very high up in the ranks. Let me assure you. The good bosses, they come in and listen, they say, "What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?" And they walk out. That's it. And let you fight among yourselves. And then they ask, "So what do you think? Who do you choose?" You say, "You chose that person? Really? You mean that solution is better than the other guy's solution? You telling me?" Trust me, the executives, they assess you just like that very quickly. If you grandstand, you're wasting their times. Yes, comment, Jewel Mountain.
Jewel Mountain says, I was in marketing and sales. When I stopped trying to show off and just focused on what they want, help to the best of my ability, people trusted me more. I became better in sales and marketing in the long term. Only low-level salespeople try to show off, and they will fall short. Smart people will notice that they are just showing off without knowing what they are doing.
Right. They dismiss your sales pitch. They chop it down by 70%. Okay? Even in sales. What the salespeople don't realize is that great salesmen are very credible. They're not even selling. I'm scared of those salespeople. They come in to a store, the young men say, "Well, can I interest in this TV?" And the managers will come around, "Hey, what can I do for you?" "Oh, you don't want that." No, they don't even try to sell me anything. And that's the one I trust his advice. Okay? Not knowing that he needs to move that merchandise. It's expiring. So how deadly those people are. Okay? Don't ever trust salespeople. But the point is that I'm suggesting that you should consider not grandstanding, not trying so hard to shine. Instead, conserve your energy to analyze the problem at hand. And that's what, to me, is honest day's work. Don't just show up to work and just try to get by. I'm guilty of that. I've always been guilty of that. It's stupidity. Okay? It's dishonesty. If you ask me, aren't you ashamed of yourself, taking advantage of the company? What kind of person are you? Even if your boss doesn't recognize you and they underpay you, is there a reason for you to really take advantage of the system so that you get away with it? You have to live with yourself. You go home, you look at yourself in the mirror. You say, that's the kind of person I am today. This is how I brought money back to feed my son, my wife. This is the kind of person I am. This is the kind of money I made. You cannot run away from that. Come on. If others get away with that, it's okay. It's not our problem. If you like that, you come to my temple, you meditate, I assure you, you will progress very quickly. Because part of your meditation is to sit there and you resolve all this ickiness in your mind. Ickiness, I mean. Grandstanding, pretending, worrying about you not recognized, instead of an honest day's work. Did I contribute? Did I give my best? Never mind if they don't even notice me. Okay? Questions, comments? I know people like that who come to my temple. They get away. They just sneak around, doing enough to get by. And I waited patiently, year after year. You come to my lectures, you hear what the Dharma is, you say, you are a good person, and you still at work. And after all these years, you don't even change. You don't even, wake up to the fact that instead of looking at others, just look at yourself. This is what this is about. How do you feel about yourself? About your life, about your work? You spend 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day at work, and you fake it? You feel good about that? Trying to impress people? Trying to sneak around and get by? That's the kind of person you are? Then you're very poor. Doesn't matter how much money, how popular you are. You're a very poor person. Your heart is very poor. You're so miserable. You don't feel good about yourself. That's why you have to pretend to be someone who you're not. Okay, continue, please.
到任何地方，不要自满，也不要自大。
Anywhere you go, don't be complacent. Also, don't be arrogant.
他们说俺们是骄傲，咱们要回光返照，问一问，俺们如果不是骄。
They say we are proud. We need to turn the light and illuminate inward to ask ourselves.
傲的话，那就他说我们骄傲，那也没有用的。俺们如果真是骄傲，我们要改过，改这个骄傲。
If we are not proud, then it is useless for them to say we are proud. If we are actually proud, then we need to fix it. Fix this proud.
Okay, stop. Okay. Did you hear the great master say it? He says, if people say you're proud, you're arrogant, then return the light, fan, chao, return the light, I said if read here, return the light and illuminate inward and ask ourselves. Return the light and illuminate inward. Drop the light here, there's no need for this. Okay? Ask yourself. Okay. This is what the Chinese keep on telling themselves. It bothers the heck out of me. I read this, I can't tell you how many times. And it meant nothing to me at all for decades. Okay? If you're not proud, then it's useless for them to say we're proud. If we're actually proud, we need to fix it, fix this proud. What's wrong with this? It sounds so logical, yes? You return the light within, whatever it means. And we're proud, then we should fix it. We recognize our pride, we fix it. If we're not proud, then it's okay, it's no problem. What's wrong with this? Orange. Red.
We depend on people for our conservation. We don't look back at our...
Are you sure?
Yes.
We depend on people?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
If we do like that, so we depend on people works. So we...
Okay. You too.
Brady says, our culture and society really promotes the development of arrogance.
No. Aren't you supposed to shine? Isn't that normal? What about pride of work? Aren't we, what about pride of work? We should be proud of ourselves. We have our own standards. Do not compromise. That's so important. No comments, no answers? Don't you have any pride on your work? Aren't your standards high enough? Should we need higher standards? And don't listen too much about that comment earlier. He says, the project eventually comes back to me, I might have to fix it up and so forth. It probably applies to him because he's retiring, so he doesn't care. He's so entrenched that they're so short-handed. They say, well, it's only two of us, and if this guy, I know this guy will screw up, he'll come back to me, so I buy me some time. That's why he's not telling you. Yeah? When the Chinese talk about pride here, it refers to what? It refers to the insisting that others recognize us as better, as cool, as superior, right? We're demanding recognition. Yes? That's what is meant by the word proud here. We're proud because we want recognition. We demand recognition. We expect recognition. Yes? That's what pride is about. You too, yes.
Let Go says, Master, doesn't it take a lot of wisdom and blessing to be able to truly recognize whether one is proud, arrogant, or being honest to oneself? It is so easy for people nowadays to lie to themselves.
Yeah, it's so easy. So people, people, the monks, and then the monks who are supposed to train me, and the nuns are supposed to help me. They tell me, "Hey, don't stand out. And, why are you so proud? Why are you so conceited? Why are you so arrogant?" And I said, "So what? Because I'm better than you. Aren't you jealous? I think you're jealous." Joe Mountain answer.
Yeah, Joe Mountain says that the Chinese says more like arrogance instead of proud, isn't it?
Is what? What was the question again? I'm sorry.
He says it's more like arrogance instead of proud.
Yeah, arrogance. Proud here is, Jiao Ao is actually proud arrogance, more arrogance than proud. So the translation is could be a little bit better. They say we are arrogant, not proud. Okay. We need to return. If people say that we are arrogant, we need to return the light and illuminate inward. What on earth does that mean? Illuminate what? Return the light and illuminate inward. To me, it's absolutely useless advice. Sorry, too Chinese. Because I tried it. I said, I know I'm arrogant. I'm really conceited. SOB, okay? I know that. And it's not the first time that people tell me. But return the light and illuminate inward meant nothing to me. It's a wrong advice for proud people, for arrogant people. Agree or disagree? I'm arrogant. What did you tell me? Don't be so arrogant. You turn the light inward and illuminate. Who are you? Who are you? Why do you talk to me with that kind of nonsense? Because I don't understand what you're talking about. You see? This advice here is not for us. It's for enlightened people. It's not for us. It really bothered me for years that I'm supposed to return the light and illuminate. I say what? What light? What illumination? Illuminate what? And all those hotshots who told me to do that, didn't mean anything to me. It didn't help. It made me frustrated. I imagine at the time that Master Shenhua was conducting this Chanchi, I doubted his humans, participants were, any of them were enlightened. I doubted, seriously doubted. For him to give this advice to them, didn't help. Basically, for years, I dismissed this. I read it everywhere. Eternal light and illuminate, return and look at yourself. Say, what? It didn't happen to you, I guess. You love these advices, right? Eternal light and illuminate. YouTube answer. And then we go to Q.
Brady says, you can have silent pride, but not silent arrogance. Returning the light can focus on your silent pride.
Okay, turn on your silent pride. But what light? What light are you using to return? What is return? Q.
Emitofuo, in my case, is a more technical aspect of a project. I used to be very attached to my project and doesn't feel good when people criticize it. But in later years, I'm very much welcome to the comments and criticism of the project, so you can avoid the mistake during construction or difficult in use in the future, and actually it gives you a chance to look at the project in all sides, from maintenance, from repair, from cost, for construction. For younger engineer, only looking at the visual of that and get attached to that. But in the later years, it's only a small part of the project. Maintenance become a very big issues, and how the project applied to the user also that. So for me, when I'm done with the project, I send it over to all the departments just to get their opinion on their criticism on that, and then go through. And some of it is really good. You modify it, and I think
that's
it's
experience. That's very good. That's experience. And try to answer in 4 sentences, please. And that's wisdom. You may have experience, but if you can answer, make a statement, make a point in 4 sentences, okay, then it's called wisdom. Knowledge is not enough. Experience is not enough. It's how you convey it in 4 sentences. That's when your wisdom shines. All right? Work on that. YouTube question.
Let Go asks, do you mean that these instructions were for the invisible beings who listened to Master Shenhua's talk?
I'm sorry? What's the question again?
Let Go asks, do you mean that these instructions was for the invisible beings who listened to Master Shenhua's talk?
No. When he first started, the objective is to bring you lovely human beings up to snuff, so that you're able to absorb Mahayana. Okay, so you able to understand the higher principles of Mahayana. Okay, and there's certain things that you do that prevent you from absorbing that thing. Okay, so that's so important. Okay, because when we speak Dharma, we speak to a physical living being. We don't speak to invisible beings. That's not the primary audience. Okay? If we only need to worry about invisible beings like Shakyamuni Buddha, when he first became a Buddha, he would not need a Buddha hall. Didn't need anything. They don't need a Buddha hall. Okay? But so that's why my problem is that I'm pointing out to you, next generation, stop regurgitating what the Chinese say. Because me, as a Western educated person, it bothered me so much. I said, please explain it. Tell me something that I can use, something that would help me get rid of my arrogance, my being so conceited. It is sick. But this doesn't help. Okay? It's too vague. It doesn't mean anything. That's not how you help people. That's not how you help train people. Get rid of arrogance. You cannot say, you're so arrogant. You know what? You need to look, return a light and illuminate inward. And then fix it. Say what? English, please. You cannot help people like that. It may work in China, it may make sense to the Chinese because they keep on listening to these vague things and they revere it. So this is so profound. I'm going to recite it. I'm going to memorize it. I'm going to use it to make my point. But it does not translate into actions. You get my drift? Chan is actions. Chan is details. What you need to do. Cross your legs. Endure the pain. Those are very specific instructions. Return the light within and illuminate. Really? What light? Cut it out. Chinese people. It's wrong. You want to help people. Don't talk like this, okay? It's okay. The Chinese can teach themselves, it's okay. But we cannot talk like this. It's not Weiyang. Our Weiyang is different. Don't talk like this. Don't imitate people. I need you to be true to your own experience. Does it work for you or not? Before you tell to someone else. Okay? You may not agree with me. Does it make sense to you? Return the light within, illuminate. And you hear this everywhere. If you are enlightened, it is very precise. If you're not enlightened, it means diddly squat to you, I assure you. It doesn't mean anything to you. Unless you're a liar. It's a very precise process. Wrong audience. Questions, comments? Yeah, so I appreciate the input from the old engineer, retiring engineer, okay? Very good, yes. Experience tells you that I will cite in closing the movies. May I? No? I love crime movies for some reason. I don't know why I love, crime movies. I love the movies that says they invented the perfect crime. For some reason, I love it. I'm always fascinated by that premise. You created, you are committing the perfect crime. Okay? And so these people spend, their blood and sweat coming up after years of, being caught and put in prison and coming out and say, I screwed up. I can improve, I can be better. And they got caught again and they come back. Now I figure out, no. I now know what to do. And so they said, now I got a perfect crime. Infallible plans. Okay? So they moving along and everything well into places. And YongHua is sleeping. Look at her, right? I thought it was my perfect lecture. I thought I've been waiting. I've been priming you for this punchline, this because as I listen to you, I say, I know I'm going to close out, the night with this movie quote, I saw it coming, so I've been priming and said, and when I was about to unleash my punchline. What a deflating experience. Look at that. She's so happy now. How can you find happiness? So anyway, so this perfect crime, yeah? And everything was perfect, okay? Some kind of bank robberies or train robbery, and the great train robberies, whatever, one of those movies, the great train robbery, the perfect bank heist, the perfect murder and all those things. Always one thing cannot be foreseen. Like an old woman walking to, to make a deposit, $5 deposit in the bank, the wrong time. Okay? There's no such a thing as a perfect plan. Okay? Plans are meant to be flexible, malleable. You adjust constantly. Okay? And that's what the point is well taken. That retiring engineer says, "I used to be to grandstand and defend my territory, improve and right, and so forth." And eventually, you recognize that if you learn to listen to others, they offer perspectives that you haven't had before. Okay, that's life. It's reality. So experienced people would solicit information. Okay. All right. That's all I have for you. So my conclusion here is that next time we go to 87, okay, it's my point here is that I can't criticize you without offering some suggestions, okay. You don't have to worry about these things until it becomes a problem. Be proud, be arrogant, grandstand, draw attention yourself. If you get away with it, it's okay. But when you fail, you'll fail sometime. You reach the highest you can go in terms of fooling, grandstanding, and seeking visibility. Okay? Then you find out. You find out that there's no need for that. It can be better. Okay? People, they're not going to change unless they need to. So we cannot tell them that you're so arrogant. Okay? If people walk in here and they're so arrogant, we don't say anything. Is it clear? Okay, usually the arrogant ones have more money, let's face it. Or have the potential to make more money. My point here is that you cannot, when you with these problems, you cannot have a formula that says return the light, illuminate. That's not for us. For normal people, we need to look at them and talk to them, and until it's act like Mary Jo. Lie down on the couch. Tell me what's bothering you. You know? And then, yeah, oh yeah, of course. Yeah, it's from your parents. Yeah. It's all your parents' fault. All those things. Because unless they feel the urge to change, let them be. It's okay. Arrogant, not arrogant, why should it bother you? Embrace them. Even at work, it's okay. Be human. Be kind. They get what they deserve, that's all. Don't need to say, you're so arrogant, you're so conceited, I don't like you. No. Let them be. They shoot themselves in the foot eventually. And it's not going to be your fault. Comment, you too.
Michelle says, if you don't think you're arrogant, return the light is useless. But if you think you are, then you don't need to return the light. The key point is how to know if you are arrogant or not.
Yes, actually it's more than that. The advice is very sound. Okay, it's based on sound principles, but it doesn't help regular people. This is again, is the advice for people who have wisdom, enlightened people, not for lay people like us. It doesn't do anything for me, honestly. It's nonsense, he asked me. Too Chinese. It will not work for me. I don't subscribe to this. So please, boys and girls, cut it out. Do not imitate them. Okay? Be real. I'm trying to pretend and regurgitate things people say or the sages say. Jeez, don't. I'm so arrogant. You know what? You should return the light and illuminate with him and fix it. Right. Okay, final questions or comments? Chan is very practical. It's live. It is a real thing that we do. It's not just at the temple. At every waking moment in our lives. That's what Chan is about. All right? Thank you, everyone. See you next time.